and welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. Today's video going to be a video about the Celtic FC Women's side, the Celtic GHIRLS, and so if you don't follow the Celtic FC Women's side, the Celtic GHIRLS, and don't want to hear the most recent post-match review and news about the women's team, there will be another video later in the afternoon, towards 5-6 o'clock or possibly later, regarding the main Celtic men's team. Today's video going to be a post-match review of the 8-0 win for the GHIRLS last night against Aberdeen. One of their two games in hand moves them up to 4th place, and if they do win as expected their second game in hand, that would be them up to 2nd place, 3 points behind Glasgow City, who lie first, and would actually put them above Rangers, Hibs and Hearts in the table, and would get them back into an extremely good position to push towards retaining their SWPL title. So, going to have a wee chat through the goals, the stats, plus a couple of other wee bits of news from Elena Sadiku's press conference, and a couple of other news stories coming out about the women's side, and a little preview of the big cup semi-final against Rangers at the weekend, which will be a home fixture at New Douglas Park. So Celtic got back to their ways of last season, where they were dominating teams and putting away the chances, and in the end they beat Aberdeen for 8-0, 5-0 up at half-time, and 3 more added in the second half. Elena Sadiku, in her press conference after the game, was saying she was a wee bit disappointed because she felt, having created so many chances, they probably should have gone into double figures, but I think that's really just the icing on top of the cake. I think an 8-0 win is excellent. It obviously puts Celtic nearer the top, keeps the good run of form that they're showing at the start of the season, showing also that they're adapting to some players in different positions, a general different formation and setup, and it was also nice to see a few of the things that made Celtic so powerful last year came back again in yesterday's match. Celtic opened the scoring in the 2nd minute. Caitlin Hayes putting away a Lucy Ashworth-Clifford cross added to the score, with goals in the 7th minute by Saoirse Noonan. Then Amy Gallagher converted a penalty kick in the 29th minute after Colette Kavanagh had been fouled in the box. So Saoirse Noonan added her second and Celtic's 4th in the 33rd minute, and in added time, just before half-time, 3 minutes into added time, Caitlin Hayes again converted, this time from an Amy Gallagher pass. So 5-0 up at half-time. Celtic did make a few changes in the second half. One of those, Maria McInerney, had a great second half. She had a couple of assists in the second half. Celtic added to their score with a goal by Emma Lawton in the 58th minute. Another goal from a corner with captain Kelly Clark scoring in the 75th. And in added time, Celtic added an 8th and final goal through Jenny Smith to go 2 minutes into injury time, added time. And that was from another assist by Maria McInerney. So, over the course of the game, one of Celtic's star players of last year, who has kind of been a wee bit off form and not as contributing as much in the attacking zone from corners and direct free kicks, etc. Caitlin Hayes got a couple of goals, which is excellent return to her scoring form of last year, which was critical. Amy Gallagher scored one and created 2 goals, and Saoirse Noonan, our main striker, put 2 goals away. And also nice to see assists from Lucy Ashworth-Clifford, one of my favourite players, and Maria McInerney, another of my favourite players, and certainly one of my favourite young players in Celtic's squad. In her press conference before the game, Elena Sadiku had mentioned a couple of wee things. She was saying that Celtic do have quite a number of players out at the moment through injury, and she was hoping that at least two or three of them would be back available for the weekend. She didn't really specify which names, but I'm wondering whether those names might be Murphy Agnew, Kelsey Doherty, and Kit Lefersky, who have all been missing since we returned from the warm weather training in Gran Canaria. All three did take part in the training in Gran Canaria, but were absent against Partick Thistle and absent again last night for the Aberdeen match. I think Kelsey Doherty back in goals would be good for Celtic in many ways. I think she's a much better shot stopper, better coming for crosses, and she's also very, very comfortable with the ball at her feet, and has a lot of the skills that Chloe Logan, who's a wee bit younger and more inexperienced, is still learning. Also, would like to see the pace of Murphy Agnew, Kit Lefersky taking on Rangers, squarer, slower, but bigger defenders and midfielders. And I think the extra pace of those two, if it is available at the weekend for the Rangers semi-final, I think that could be a big factor. It was also Elena Sadiku's 1 year anniversary as Celtic head coach. She has had 50 games in that 1 year period, which I find actually quite surprising, given the fact that they do have a fairly long summertime break. And so she has been averaging over 1 game a week as the Celtic head coach. And also in her press conference, she was saying that they are looking to try and line up 2 or 3 new additions to the squad over this winter window, and saying she was very much hopeful of getting in a new signing this week to the club, although did not specify who it would be or what position that would be. Just going back to the match, I think the star players clearly were 3. Caitlin Hayes, a good return to form, looking very solid at the back with Emma Lawton and Kelly Clark, and also good contributions from a more attacking midfield role from Amy Gallagher and our main striker Saoirse Noonan doing what she's paid to do, putting away the goals and being much more efficient than at times she and her fellow strikers and attacking midfielders have been. And I think Celtic actually are settling down into this 4-2-3-1 formation that Elena Sadiku is trying to put out. I think that does balance things up nicely. We've got good width in our overlapping fullbacks. We've got 2 very experienced central defenders, both of whom are happy with the ball at their feet usually, and both of whom also are a threat at corners and direct free kicks in the opposition box. We've got a couple of nice ball-winning midfielders, such as Colette Kavanagh and Natalie Ross, and some creative players like Matilda Carsons and Amy Gallagher, and currently Morgan Cross in that midfield role. Mobile position, versatile position, going out wide, going up to support the striker, and I think that formation is a good formation. Might like to see, as I say, maybe a bit of extra pace with a Murphy Agnew or a Kit Lefersky in there, and maybe Shannon McGregor taking the role also from Matilda Carson, who's played the last couple of games, but we'll see what Elena Sadiku picks for the game against Rangers, which is our next game. And hopefully by the end of the month, when Celtic do have their second game in hand played and their whole fixtures for January completed, will be lying in second place, which would be a great situation as we approach the 6-6 split a wee bit later on in the year. Looking at the stats for yesterday's game kind of also does reflect a wee bit on what Elena Sadiku was saying. She was hoping the team would just be a wee bit more consistent at putting away all the chances that they are creating, but the number of chances they created and the numbers that they put away are getting better and better. And I think it's getting back to the kind of efficiency ratings and ratios that they had last season. So possession was 64% for Celtic, 36% for Aberdeen, which is a wee bit interesting, as that's more possession than one would have expected Aberdeen to have gotten. 19 on targets for Celtic and 3 for Aberdeen. And so Celtic putting away 1 in every 2, roughly, of their on-target shots. 6 off targets to 1 in favour of Celtic, 2 blocked Celtic shots and 1 blocked Aberdeen shot. The Aberdeen goalkeepers, they had a different goalkeeper in the second half from the first half. They combined made 11 saves, and Chloe Logan in Celtic's goal 3. And corners were a massive 16-1 in favour of the girls. So, what the stats show, Celtic had lots of possession, used that possession really well to create chances, got the massive majority of their chances on goal, and put away just under 50% of their on-target shots. And at the other end, our back four and Chloe Logan had a good game. There was no real goal threats as such, and Chloe Logan made a couple of easy enough saves, and the defenders managed to keep control of the Aberdeen attacking players. And so lots of good omens for the Rangers match at the weekend. That just about finishes things off for today's video about the Celtic women's side. I will do another wee video after the Rangers semi-final at the weekend, and also keep you up to date with any news for the women's side, such as the identity of this signing, assuming that it all goes through in the next couple of days. And also, just a wee reminder, I will be doing a video about the main Celtic men's team later on this afternoon, probably going up about 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, depending how the news stories develop over the next few hours. And so until the next video, goodbye and hail, hail.